For the Senators, Sabres, and Red Wings, it was wins that weren't happening. All three continue to struggle. All three are below the Columbus Blue Jackets in the Eastern Conference playoff race. It is not going well for three clubs that, again, this year were kind of all lumped together as the teams who were supposed to take steps forward, Colby. It's not happening. It's the topic of our Dominion Lending Center's poll question. But when you look at these three, and we've called them, the not so big three, is there one of them that you maybe do have a little bit of confidence in? I think Detroit's dead in the water. I think that's a team that really lacks direction. I'm surprised Derek Lalonde has survived as long as he has. I think the rosters in Buffalo and Ottawa are better, but still through 27 games now for each of them, very few reasons to be confident. Do you look at any one of those with a bit of a soft spot?
I guess maybe the Senators. Certainly not the Buffalo Sabres, but I just look at some of the pieces and I look at Brady Tkachuk and I look at Linus Ullmark, who again, he hasn't been the guy who played for the Boston Bruins. And is that system? Is that adjustment periods? When a guy gets traded and then signs a big deal, I like to give them somewhere between 3 and 6 months to really grade them and really judge them, because I do think there's a human side to this. Sorry, I'm like going to sneeze, which is why like my voice is cutting in and out a little bit. But I do think there's more hope there. They've got Shane Pinto, who I think has a lot to offer. You've got Brady Tkachuk. You've got a couple of pieces on the back end. Sure, they've been wildly inconsistent, but if you're making me choose between those three teams, I think I would probably lean into the Senators. But as it stands right now, I don't have a lot of faith in any of them. On the DFO question we put up on Twitter, on X, I commented and I said, D, none of the above. I mean, because that's kind of how I feel about these teams.
Yeah, and I do think it's fair to not be confident in any of them right now. And the other thing that's complicating the whole situation is when you look above them, Columbus, I just kind of joked they're ahead of them, and I don't think Columbus is going to stick there. But, Pittsburgh has found a bit of a groove here, 6-3-1 in their last 10. Philly's ahead of them. The Islanders have won 2 in a row. And then all of that, you still haven't caught the Rangers either. So there's a lot of teams in the mix in the Eastern Conference. And when you have to jump that many teams, it's no longer a matter of just being like, well, if we can play 550 hockey above 500, we'll get ourselves back in the mix. You're getting to a point with these three where you're going to need some sort of an 8-game heater to really thrust yourself back into the mix and into the playoff picture. And I'm not sure if any of those three, as much as I do like the pieces in Buffalo, and I think Ottawa still has a really good young core in Linus Ullmark, is it good enough to go and win 8 games in a row at some point, or 7 of 9, or whatever you need to get in there? I just don't think any of them have that level of upside.
Yeah, but if you had to pick one of the three because of the goaltender, do you have that type of faith in Buffalo's goaltending situation? Yeah, UPL's, look, he got his contract. He had a good year last year, but let's not forget, Linus Ullmark is a few years removed from a Vezina. I mean, that's the top dog in the NHL. And in Detroit, it's been anything but consistency in net. And I know they've had some guys that they've come in, they've given some good innings, but we're talking about a bunch of middle relievers here. I know you've been all over the Soto to the Jays thing, so I'm going to throw some baseball at you a little bit here. But you've got a true starting pitcher versus a bunch of middle relievers. If one of them's popping, it's Linus Ullmark.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.